welcome to the Yarn and You Girl podcast. I'm Janine, your host, also known as Yarn and You Girl, and this is my channel where I talk about all the crafty things I'm getting involved in. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's Monday, September 10th. I think this is episode 56. I never check, so I guess you guys are probably used to that already. If you've been watching me, you know that I never check. Anyway, yeah, what am I going to talk about today? It's been 3 weeks since I last podcast. I've done a lot in those 3 weeks, so have lots to talk about actually. But it's getting my brain wrapped around everything that's kind of slowing me down here a bit. But anyway, so let's just get started. I will just jump right into things. The last time I saw you all, I was just getting ready to go to the Starlight Knitting Society soiree night, which was super fun. So Starlight Knitting Society is a yarn store in the Portland area, and they are expanding their building. They took over the space next to them, and so they were having kind of like a fundraiser to help sort of support that expansion. And, you know, I get over there maybe rarely, but I wanted to go. I knew that there was going to be a couple people there that I wanted to see, definitely, namely Michelle and Leslie from the Naughty Knitwits. I don't get a chance to get over into Portland very often, so any chance to go over and meet up with them is always fun. So I bought myself a ticket and I went, and a soiree is kind of like a fancy gathering. I think like cocktail dresses and stuff, and there were some people that were slightly dressed up. I was in a dress. I thought it worked. It was super hot, but I braved wearing my Hubba Bubba light shawl anyway, and I managed it at least for a little while because I wanted to show it off because I love it. But yeah, so much fun. So you buy a ticket, and the ticket got you a raffle. One raffle ticket and then entry, and there was food provided, beverages provided. It was really, really a nice deal that they had going on. Sorry, my phone. I thought I just turned it off, but apparently I only turned off the ringer and not the notification. So let me turn off my notification sounds. Oh, I guess that's off too. I don't know. Anyway, sorry it made noise. So the entry bought you a raffle ticket, and then you got to hang out, and there was a silent auction, lots of things going on, but the raffle ticket was for a grand prize, but I guess they were pulling a bunch of little prizes as well. So I remember coming in the door, and I got my raffle ticket from my purchase of the entry, or the, what do you call it, like door entry or whatever. And it was the numbers, the last 3 digits on the ticket were 224. And I said to the gal, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my birthday, 224. I am totally winning with this ticket. And I was joking around and stuff because I hardly ever win anything. But I can't really say that anymore because I did win something that night. The raffle came around. I bought a couple extra raffle tickets because you could buy more if you wanted to get in. I didn't end up bidding anything on the silent auction stuff. You know, just nothing really caught my eye. I've got obviously a lot of yarn and things that, you know, I can purchase from here. So I just was like, oh, whatever. So I'll just buy some random drawing tickets. So they didn't do the drawings until slightly toward the end of the night. And they had a couple drawings done up to the grand prize. Now the grand prize drawing, I would have loved to have won that. But before they did that, there were like a couple skeins of yarn, some gift cards that they were giving away to their shop, and, you know, a lot of other little things. So they pulled my 224 number for a gift card for $25. I was so excited. I obviously had to go spend it right away in the shop because I don't get over to Portland very often. So I was there. I was going to go buy yarn. So I ended up buying a little bit more than just $25 worth of stuff. Not just yarn, but I ended up buying a bag. And if you've been watching Michelle and Leslie at the Naughty Knitwits, they also bought the bag. And it was peer pressure. It was all of us. These are amazing bags. But it was all of us just kind of there And we have to get this bag. We have to get this bag. And as Michelle tells the story, supposedly I tricked her into giving me this olive colored bag. And I don't quite remember that that's the way it went down. But, you know, I'd had a beverage or two. It could have been like that. But so these are the bags. And mine is quite dusty because I went hiking yesterday and it was in the car, because I've not just been using it for a knitting bag. I've been using it for my purse because it's perfect. Like, I can throw my little knitting bag in there. It's big enough, and then I can also wear it as a backpack. It's called the Knitter's Backpack, so you can wear it as a backpack. It's done by Ritual Dyes. They're a Portland company. She dyes yarn, and then I guess I didn't even know she made bags, but she makes these bags as well. So I was looking at a brown color first, and Michelle was in between the olive color and the navy blue color. And my recollection is that she put down the olive color and was like, I think I'm going to get the navy blue. So I was like, well, then I'll take the olive. I liked the olive too. I would have gotten the brown. It would have been fine. Either way. But, yeah, we had so much fun. We were laughing the whole time and giggling, and just, it was so good to get out. And sometimes I feel like I get in my little hole here and I don't venture out. I maybe venture out a little bit on social media, but I don't really like socialize because sometimes it's awkward for me. I've told you guys this before. I get a little, I don't know, my nerves like take over, and I end up being silly when I meet people for the first time, which is fine. But, you know, so it was really nice. I was pushing my comfort boundaries, and I am so glad I did, because I met a really lovely lady named Petra. Sorry, I think it's Petra. We're all butchering her name. She's probably watching us and going, oh my gosh, you guys, how hard is it? She said it was like the feminine version of Peter, so I'm going to say Petra. And we had a very, very lovely evening chatting about different colors, different yarns, designs that we were interested in. I felt super lucky that I had won that $25 gift card, because not only did I get the Ritual Dyes Knitter's Backpack, but I got some yarn for Caitlin Hunter top, the Maritimo, I think. I didn't even look at the pattern this morning to refresh my memory, but it's the most recent one she has that's kind of like a soft color, and then it has lacy panels, like lacy chevron panels on the bottom, and they're done in a contrast color. I think it's Maritimo, but I'm not 100% sure. So I did buy some yarn for that because I had already bought the pattern, and I knew that it didn't take a ton of yarn, and I basically got one of the skeins for free. So that was nice. It was really good, because, you know, free is good. Or, if you're from the Northwest, as Tom Peterson says, free is a very good price. I'm sorry, that was so dorky. So dorky. But if you grew up here in this area, Tom Peterson was like a appliance guy, I think, or a furniture guy, and he had massive television ads, and it was always like, Tom Peterson's free is a very good price was his kind of like slogan. Anyway, so if you're from the area here, you totally know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so I did get some cool things. I'll show you the yarn I got when I get to kind of like my acquisitions, because I have quite a few things to share about that. But I have been busy. I've actually like got a new pattern that I'm working on. I'm very excited about, and I posted a little bit on Instagram, but it is the sweater that I'm wearing. I am super pumped. So I told you guys I got a knitwear design software to help with the generating of the numbers, and I hadn't really played around with it too much. I played around with it and came up with this pattern because I liked the stitch pattern that the sweater, I'd been thinking about this stitch pattern for a while for a garment. I was thinking I might do it with a summer weight, but since winter was coming and I had all that Brooklyn Tweed Loft that I was debating on whether or not I was going to make the Woolen Honey sweater by Andrea Mowry or the Thramure by Ysolda Teague. I was just like not sure what I was going to do, and I really thought, you know what, I have this sweater idea in my head, and what I need to be focusing on is creating some more designs. So getting more of my patterns out there, getting them out on paper. And this actually like came together very fast, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I am going to make another one because this is Brooklyn Tweed Loft in the sweatshirt color, which is beautiful, beautiful yarn. It's very fragile to work with, so you do have to be kind of careful. If you're pulling too roughly, the yarn will break in half. It's a woolen spun, lightweight, but it's so soft. And super airy, extremely light. I would be carrying it and I barely felt like I had anything in my hands. It was so light. So, but I am going to be making some. I have some Fiber Company canopy fingering in my shop, and it's kind of I think it's a wool, a merino, maybe alpaca and bamboo blend, and I think it would have a really nice drape. Now with the Brooklyn Tweed Loft, it's definitely a little bit stiffer of a garment, but I don't mind that because I kind of like it. But the sleeves, they're kimono style sleeves, so they sort of are a little bigger on the bottom, and they make that kind of V down here, so you get a little bit of room. But it's you know, it's a little bit stiffer, so I think if it had a little bit lighter weight fabric, there'd be some more drape to it. But this is the look I was going for to begin with, was kind of like a chunky, well, it's not really chunky because it's a lightweight fingering weight, but you know what I mean, like a more stiff, throw over, warm thing. Anyway, I think I'm going to name it the I can't even speak. The Cooper Spur Sweater or Cooper Spur Pullover, because we went yesterday up to Mount Hood and hiked the Cooper Spur Trail, and the crisscrosses kind of remind me of a mountain. It's very rustic. There's a shelter up there at the snow line, like, or where the snow line might be in a month, and or I guess I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Don't listen to me what I'm saying about that. But there is a little cool shelter up there. It's very rocky and craggy, and it just felt like it needed a rustic name. So I'm thinking it's going to be the Cooper Spur Pullover. So be on the lookout for that. I will be needing test knitters as well, but let me kind of back this up and sort of show you the sweater. So see, with the Brooklyn Tweed, it's kind of, it gets a little stiff. So it holds its shape a little bit better, which is nice. It is, this is the extra small size. And so it's meant for quite a bit of positive ease. I want to say like maybe anywhere, like this one I might have done, but it has about 6 inches of positive ease. But depending on what size you make, you can get more or less. I made the extra small version because I wasn't really sure how big I wanted it to be, and I really like the way that it fit. I am a 34-inch chest typically, as I show you my, no, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I'm a 34-inch chest, and I have quite a bit of room, but it doesn't feel baggy on me, and I really, really like it. And I've been wearing it like the last couple days. So yesterday was super hot, right? Here at least. But up on Mount Hood in the morning when we went, it was like in the 40s. So I just had like a long sleeve black sweatshirt, lightweight sweatshirt underneath, and this on top, and it was perfect. And even in the sun, the wind was blowing off the Elliott Glacier up there, and it was cold, and so it felt really good to have this. And having wool is actually not so bad in the summertime. It can actually keep you relatively cool, depending. Obviously, I mean, you know, it's pretty warm too. But it's breathable, and then it can keep you warm in the winter. So when I would start walking, my body temperature would raise, and then it was fine. But as soon as I stopped and I started to try to cool down, as soon as my body temperature started to cool down, then I would get kind of hot and sweaty, you know, and I'd have to take it off. But we had so much fun yesterday. My husband was taking the pictures. We'd gotten little sleep, so it was my brother-in-law's birthday the night before. And so we went out to dinner, and we were up really late, and then we were up really early because we wanted to hit the trail before the sun got too high because we wanted nice morning light. Well, it didn't really work out, but what did work out was some serious bags under my eyes. So, but I don't care because a lot of the pictures turned out really great. I'm not super comfortable with him taking pictures of me because when I go for, like, to shoot my shawls or sweater designs or whatever it is I'm working on, it's usually my dad that's taking photos of me. And I am not self-conscious at all with him. I just do whatever I think feels like right with the photo, and he just takes a bunch of pictures. And Matt tries to be director a lot, and I get awkward with him. And so he was doing a really good job, though. I feel very comfortable with him after this trip because he spent the whole time basically like shooting photos, and it didn't matter if I was ready or not. He was just like trying to get me more comfortable, and we had probably like 200 photos to go through. Now, out of those 200 photos, maybe only 20 something turned out okay that I really liked, but that's not necessarily his fault as photographer. So I got to be a lot more comfortable with him taking photos of me. So I was glad to kind of do that because obviously my dad's not always going to be around to take photos of me. And if I want to go places like Cooper Spur, which is elevation gain like holy moly, you know, I can't make my 78-year-old dad hike up the mountain with me. That's just not cool. So Matt, he can keep up right now. I think we started at like 5,000 feet and ended at like maybe 7,500 feet, 7,500 feet maybe. We were almost at the Elliott Glacier. We could see it. And we could have probably walked along the ridge maybe another mile or so to get to it, but we were just wanting to get to the shelter basically to take photos at the rock shelter. So keep an eye on my Instagram page. I'll be showing more photos of that day because it was so beautiful, you guys. The mountain was gorgeous, and there were no clouds in the sky at all, and you don't really get that very much. And we're getting sort of toward the end of the season, the summer season here, and so snow is going to start coming down soon on Mount Hood. So I was really happy to get up there and get some photos because I thought this was perfect for like a mountain scene. At least, you know, that's what I thought. Okay, so I did this Brooklyn Tweed Loft sweatshirt colorway. I think I did it on a size, oh my gosh, no, I can't remember. It's in my bag. I think it's a size 4. Oh, it's a size 4. It is a size 4 knitting needle. And I'm working on the sizes. I will have extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, and double extra large so far. I'm trying to remember. It ranges. I mean, there's lots of positive ease built into this, so there should be a size for quite a few body frames. And I'm hoping that will work out. I'm going to need some test knitters. I'm not sure if I'm going to run it on my own or if I'm going to go through the free test knitters group in Ravelry. That seemed to be at least more, what's the word, accountable. The test knitters in there are much more accountable, and they keep you informed of what's going on. And with a sweater, I really need to make sure that I get somebody for every size. And so sometimes that's a little bit difficult when you're just randomly throwing out test knitters. But let me know if you're interested anyway. And if we do start, I will be finishing up. The numbers are all worked out. I do have to just write up the layout and make sure that it looks good and it's edited. And then get the test knit going for this as well. So let me know if it's something that you will be interested in participating in, and I will direct you to whichever way I'm going to do it. If I'm going to do it through the free pattern tester group, or if I'm going to just do it on my own, I'll let you know. So that's my first finished object. My second finished object, I was finishing a lot, is my That 70s Tee sweater, finally. So this is my second version of the That 70s Tee, and it is done in O loops, the fashion knot base. It's really blowing out. That blue is really blowing out. And the blue is Spring Skies. And this speckle is Through the Trapdoor. Now I use 2 skeins of the speckle, or basically 1.5. And you can tell that the 2 skeins, one of them was heavily speckled more so than the other. And so you can see that on the bottom it's a little bit darker. But I didn't worry too much about that because it kind of looks like I faded it into a different color almost. And that's fine too. So this is done. You guys have been seeing it. You know, I've been talking about it. It's on Ravelry. This pattern is available on Ravelry. It's been available since March. So if you're interested in making the sweater, it is a fingering weight sweater. I also used a size, I think I used a size 6 for the body. I can't remember. God, I'm horrible at remembering. I think I used a size 6 for the body and... or 5 for the body, excuse me, and 3 for the cuff and the collar. I was supposed to do a 3 on the hem down here, but I forgot, and I just did it with a 5, but it's fine. And yeah, it doesn't, fingering weight sweaters don't really use a ton of yarn, which is nice. They take a little bit of time, but they don't use a ton of yarn. So I was really pleased to finish this because I've been working on it all summer basically. And this was part of That 70s Tee knit along and summer garment knit along. And that thread has closed in the Ravelry group. I have chosen a winner, and I will announce that a little bit later in the podcast. So thank you to everyone who participated in that. But this was basically my entry for that knit along. So yeah, very, very exciting to have that done and have a lighter colored version of my That 70s Tee. Okay, let's see. What else have I been working on? Oh, my shawl design, basically the wrap sweater that I showed you guys last time. I am paring it down and trying to create it into an actual shawl because that's what I wanted it to be. I have started the second, my next version of it, and I used my Hubba Bubba, this hot pink, and that is really blowing out. It's not that light. Hot pink colorway. And this is just the lace leaf patterned edge. And that's all I've gotten done on it so far. And I'm going to be picking up then the stitches along the edge here and starting. And I think I showed you guys the colors I'm going to use, but let me go grab them so I can refresh your memory. Bonkers. This is on my alternative sock base, which is a, wait, did I say alternative? Yeah. Superwash merino, 25% nylon, 75% superwash merino. Let me get that part out. And so this is my Bonkers colorway, and I thought that would be really nice with the pink. And then as the darker contrast to the brioche, I've got this gray that I dyed, and I don't really have a name for it. I've done multiple grays, and I didn't really do a recipe with this one. I just kind of threw some gray in the pot and some black and like saw, you know, oh, hey, that turned out okay. But I think the two of those together will be so fun. The gray and the white and the hot pink, I think that will look amazing. So I plan on getting this started, working on this one a little bit more in the upcoming weeks. That is my shawl pattern that I need to like fix it, which I think is why I started this one, because I was frustrated with that shawl and that it didn't turn out the way that I was hoping. But it's okay now. I've kind of like worked out some of the knitting mojo into the sweater, and things seem to be percolating properly in my brain for that. So the next thing that I've been working on a little bit is my Leyden Tee. It was in Pom Pom Quarterly's summer magazine, the one all about the stripes. And so this is the first part that I have done, the front panel. You guys have seen this. So this goes down the front of the sweater. And the last time I showed it to you guys, I had told you I had messed up on the side and I didn't do enough increases. So I fixed that and I added the increase to the side. And then I did a provisional cast on and started working on the back. So this is all I have so far of the back. And the way this works is I think it goes, this is the top basically, and so it runs, your knitting runs sideways on your body, and this is the back part. And I think what it'll happen is it'll come around and increase maybe here on the shoulder and then decrease out like with the arms and stuff. I'm not sure, but I am working on that. The yarn is Hempathy, Elizabeth Lavold Hempathy. This is the Paris green color, and the contrast I used is Snow Leopard. So I'm working on this some more. It's not my top priority right now, but I did get it started and got past that provisional cast on that was kind of holding me back a bit. So I've done that, and this is kind of the one, because it's just stockinette, that I've been taking with me places. My gauge is a little loose in places because this yarn, because it's a hemp cotton modal blend, it's a little stickier, and I don't feel like I pull as tight to get the most even stitches with it, but I'm hoping that it will block out in the end and it will look nice. So I am still working on that. And then let's see, what else do I have down here? Okay, so then I am also working on my Stitch Surfer sock. I still haven't done a ton more, but I am almost ready to do the cuff on this first sock. So this is Stitch Surfer, and I can't remember the author of the pattern right now, but it's a free pattern. It's on knitty.com, or you can find it on Ravelry. And so I am working up the leg. I think I'm gonna go to the last, like, until it decreases out over here, and then I'll work maybe backward doing the cuff, and then I'll be done with one. So the yarn I have here is Two Sisters Yarn Co. And I always do this. I always lose the tags. This is the color. It's a self-striping. Machonne, I think, is the name of the color. I really, really like this. And then the purple is Lorna's Laces. Grapevine. I think I keep calling it grape jelly, but it's grapevine. And so those two together are doing my Stitch Surfer sock. So this is a little slower going than things. I'm not in a sock mood, but I really am enjoying this, and I've been having a lot of fun with the colors. So it is something that I'll pick up. I don't have anything that's really mindless right now. Even that sweater, the Leyden Tee, even though it's just stockinette, there's only, like, I have to knit to a certain amount, and then I have to measure, and then I have to just, you know, then I'd have to bring out the pattern and figure it out. So this is my most mindless knit right now, and it's not really mindless. It's harder to do when I go on walks and things like that, because I'm turning it and working, you know, on the inside row and then on the outside, and but going back and forth to get that specialness of the Stitch Surfer. So unfortunately it's not as vanilla-y for mindless stuff, but it's fine. In fact, we went to see Mr. Rogers. There's a documentary on the Mr. Rogers show. It's Would You Be My Neighbor? My mother-in-law took the kids and I to go see it at the Laurelhurst Theater, which is a little old theater in Portland, and it's, you know, one of those, they play a couple movies, they have pizza and concessions, and you can get beer and stuff there. So we went to see that, but I didn't have anything that I thought that I could do in the movie theater. So I had a little bit of a hard time like sitting still, because I really need to get something that's pretty repetitive on my needles, and I just don't know what yet. I haven't figured it out. So I didn't have anything to knit. But it was a really interesting movie. There were some funny parts about it. I enjoyed it. I cried a couple times. I'm not ashamed to say I'm an emotional wreck when I watch anything that like pulls on the heartstrings. But it was quite funny in places, and you know, I laughed out loud, and I was surprised at that. So I was glad to have seen it. So if you get a chance, if it's in your area, you should check it out, especially if you liked Mr. Rogers when you were a kid. You can kind of see, you know, a little bit more about his life. Okay, next is a whip that has not seen the light of day in probably 6 months, since Vogue Knitting Live, I think. Because I bought the yarn at Vogue Knitting Live in Seattle this last February, or I don't even know if it was February or earlier than that. Might have been November, actually. I have no idea. But I bought the yarn at Vogue Knitting Live. So it hasn't seen the light of day for a while, but because I finished this and I had finished my t-shirt, that 70s t-shirt, I needed to do something else. I mean, I have a couple other like whips, but there's a few that have been languishing for a really long time. So I felt to be accountable for my purchases and things like that, that I should really work on finishing some of these. So I pulled out my Exploration Station by Stephen West. And the last time you guys saw this, I had done most of the very first section, which is the, he calls it the short row, short row salsa, something. It's like samba or something. Anyway, so I just started the 6th wedge of the short row, and I needed to just finish that wedge, and then I could start on the Bountiful Brioche section of the pattern. So let me show you kind of what I have. And it's on a really short cable. I don't know why I have the shortest cables, but this is what I have so far. So the last time you guys saw it, I just had it to this purple section here, basically, and maybe one row into that reddish brown. And I have to say, like, these aren't really like colors that I normally would. I mean, I like all the colors separately, but together they have this very muted, almost neutral look, and then you have the pop of the teal in between. And I really like it. I wasn't sure I would, but I think it's going to be really pretty to wear. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Wow. Sorry. I had to pause for a minute and take care of that sneeze that just happened. Ooh. You guys don't need to see all that. That's going to get cut. Anyway, so I am really enjoying the colors together, even though I wasn't really sure about it at first. So all of the wedges and the main colors are all Ritual dyes. Same gal who did the bag. I actually bought this yarn at Vogue Knitting Live at the Starlight Knitting Society booth, but I can't remember what all the names are. I do have all the tags in here, but let's see if we can figure out which one is which based on the colors. All right, hang on. I could go back and look at my Vogue Knitting post, whatever you call it, post episode, but I'm not going to do that because, you know, like, who does that? Okay, so Belladonna I know is the purple one. So that's this one. I know that's Belladonna. Maybe I only have 2 of the, oh my gosh. so bad. Okay. I guess I've lost the other ones. Oh, well. So one of the other ones is called Forage. And I'm not sure. I think it must be this one. And then I have no idea now what this one is. And this is the reddish brown one. I can't remember. I thought I had all of them, but I really only have two. And I don't know, excuse me, oof, ever since that sneeze. I don't know what the blue one, turquoise one is. I just know that it's Hazelnut's Artisan Sock. And it's that turquoisey teal color. And that's the contrasting wedges, or contrasting stripes in between the wedges. So I'm working on the brioche section right now, which is a combination of the brown, or the light brown taupey color, and, oh no, I think the red color, no, I have no idea, never mind. I had a thought, but it didn't come to fruition in my brain. So the brioche color is a light brown color, taupey brown with the speckles of rust and blue and purple in there. And then the contrast color is the belladonna. So there really isn't a ton of contrast in this section, but that's okay. I was thinking, gosh, how cool would this shawl be if you did every section a different color, every stripe a different color, use all your leftovers with it. So I might do something like that, because I just think what a neat way to use up a bunch of stuff that you have left over. So I might end up doing that, but I am one full repeat into the brioche, and I have started the second repeat. I need to do 3 repeats of the brioche section, and then I'll move on to the next section. So this is kind of what I've been working on now since I finished this sweater. However, I'm going to be buying yarn from the shop to knit up the next version of this. Once the pattern's all written out and it's ready for testing, then I'll test it myself, as my testers are also testing it. So I can kind of, because sometimes when you get questions about the pattern, for me, I'm a very visual person, and I have to see the mistake and where it's happening. I have to draw it out. I have to look at it and see what's going on, so then I can figure out what happened with the mistake. So what I've been doing too with the numbers on the sweater is, because you do the increases at different times for the different sizes, I've actually charted them like on a table. Also, because I have to incorporate the stitch pattern as well, I charted them on a table, and each size has its own chart right now. And I'm debating, I don't know if this is something that you guys like in patterns or not, but I am debating creating like a more simplified version for each person's, not my own chaotic like notes all over version, but a more simplified version of a table like that for people who, when you start doing the increases, you can like check the boxes. Okay, I'm at this row, I finished this row, check. Go on to the next row. What's happening on the next row? Is it an increase? Check. Okay, I did that one. And then moving on, and you just follow like your table basically, and kind of check things off as you go. I don't know if that's something that appeals to people when they're knitting. I thought I might consider doing a simplified version of that for each person's size in the pattern, if that is something that seems, for me, it's very handy, because visually I could see, okay, this is a 12 row repeat. I know that on row 11 and 12 is when I'm doing the pattern, so I know that the stitch count has to be a multiple of, whatever, plus whatever. So when I get there, I can check, okay, well, rows 1 through 10, did I increase enough but also keep the shape right to get to the right pattern, or do I have to do something different on the pattern row? Do I have to increase on the pattern row? Like, it just helped me visualize what was happening in the sweater with all these other sizes, because I'm not going to knit every single size to make sure that it works. Obviously, that's why you have testers out there, but I want it to be I'm kind of a perfectionist. My pharmacist background is I like things to be right. Obviously, if I make a mistake in my knitting, I'm not going to kill anybody, but I could in my professional life if I wasn't very anal about kind of some of that stuff. So that part of my brain wants to make sure that it's perfect. So for me, that was very helpful to visualize where the increases were happening and what was going to happen on the pattern rows during that increase. So if that's something that you guys think would be helpful in a pattern, let me know, and I'll probably add it to this one, and we'll kind of see how that goes. So anyway, where was I going with that? Was I just like, I thought I was talking about this. I think I was, but I said, okay, I'm working on this now, and then I'm going to go and buy my other yarn to do my other one. Yeah. So that is Stephen West's Exploration Station, and I'm really glad to be kind of working on a whip that has been sitting for a while without any love, because I'd love to have this. I've admired this shawl for so long. I've seen so many beautiful versions of it. I would really love to have it as a part of my, wardrobe. So I do not think I'm going to do his mystery along this year. I didn't do last year's. I did the one the year before, and while I enjoyed it, I don't like the pressure of the mystery along. And I don't like the idea of not knowing what I'm going to get, because I really like knowing what I'm going to get. I don't want to spend all that time and commitment, money-wise or whatever, into something that I won't end up wearing. Especially because his patterns, they're so usually crazy, chaotic colors, or there's a lot of color choices that you have to make, and if you don't make the right ones, sometimes it's disappointing. Not necessarily for the process is not disappointing, but the finished garment might not be your favorite, and I might not be happy making it if it's something, that I didn't pick the right color for this section, and I wish I would have done something different. I'm not a huge mystery knitter fan. I kind of like to know what I'm getting out of it. So, last but not least, I have some cross stitch to share with you guys. This is in my Bags by Awesome Granny. I actually use this bag almost exclusively for all my cross stitch stuff now because it is huge and it fits the hoop, but I'm not using a hoop anymore. I decided to do the sewing method. So I've been doing the stab and what do they call it? Stab method, I guess, where you just like stick the needle in and pull it out on the other side, and then stick the needle in and pull it out on the front side, and you just go back and forth, like that. Well, I'm good at that, relatively good at that. It's a little slow, and I wanted to try the sewing method because I thought, well, hey, maybe I can move a little bit faster on this if I do the sewing method. So this is Into the Jungle by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I haven't done much of this, but I have finished 3 full blocks. Remember, it's a mystery along, so again, like, why am I doing mystery along? Well, this one, at least I knew the theme, and I know what I'm going to do with it at the end of it, because I know how their style is. And they give you all the colors. It's not like I had to make a choice for where the colors were and stuff. So that's okay with me. Something like this. And this is actually, to me, this kind of mystery along is fine because I'm not like just I get to know each month what block is what. But I have only done a couple months. So I finished the sloth, which you guys have seen. And I finished the toucans, which I think you guys mostly saw the toucans done, but I did finish them recently, like completed that block. And then I've done the little alligator. And then I've started the frog. This is a frog over here, and I'm working on this. Now the frog is the one that I started doing the sewing method on. And if you don't know what the sewing method is of cross stitch, it's actually really pretty cool. You hold the work in your hand, and you're basically going in and out of the stitch on the front. Now you have to be I have to be kind of careful because I'm still having a hard time seeing where the holes are correctly, but it does seem to be going quite fast. There was a really good YouTube tutorial that I watched. I basically just Googled like sewing method cross stitch, and it showed you kind of what to do. So I like that one. I like how that's coming out, and like I said, it's gone a lot faster. So, but I have had to pick out a bit because I wasn't paying close enough attention to where I was putting the colors, and they were getting a little confused. So I did end up having to pick out and do extra, but very excited about this. This is super cute. I'm not probably going to put it up in my home because I don't have little kids, but I'm thinking I might gift it to my sister-in-law. I have to ask her if it's something that she would be interested in, because she's very, she really likes certain things a specific way, and I'm not sure if this is her style. So I wouldn't want to gift it to her if she didn't really think that they would be able to use it. I don't know if cross stitch is her style. Like, I've knit her things and that's been fine, and she's a wonderful knit-worthy recipient. I just am not sure that the cross stitch is something that she likes, or the look of it is something that she likes. If that doesn't work out, if she's not interested in it for her baby's room, which, I mean, this would be such a cute baby room thing. I think it will end up being a gift for the school auction, and I will have that as my contribution to the auction, because each family is responsible for donating like a value of $100, and it could be a service, it could be or maybe it's not $100. I'm not exactly sure what the value has to be, but each family is responsible for donating something, whether it's an actual commercial item or a service like a window washing or car detailing or something like that. This would be my donation for our family. In the past, I've done like a custom knit item. So if somebody wanted something particular, like a cowl, I would knit it for them. I decided I didn't want to do that again because that's a lot of work. And usually if it's not something that I'm interested in knitting, I'm having a hard time. I have a hard time kind of working out that particular pattern. I don't like to do it, so I put it off, and then there's a whole like, do they really like it? Is it something that they're going to be interested in? Is it going to be disappointing when they get it? And I just my brain doesn't like that at all. So I did that one year, and then last year I actually just donated some handmade shawls that I wasn't using. So ones that had sat in my shawl drawer and I never wore because they just weren't my style. They were beautiful, but they just weren't my style. So last year, that's what I donated. And I mean, they're gorgeous pieces, and I'm sure somebody ended up loving them. So this year, I was thinking of the cross stitch for that. So obviously, there's lots of, families at the school, and so maybe somebody wants it for a baby shower gift or something like that. I think it'll be perfect for that. Okay, that's everything for work in progress, finished objects, all the kit and caboodle stuff. I do have some winners. I still have not received any information on any of the people that I've drawn for the last 2 drawings, so I still have that cast on case by A Single Strand Studio. So this is the what a cast on case is. It snaps open. You can put your needles and cables and notions and stuff like that, and it just kind of folds up real nice and snaps. This is mine, And then the one that I have for you guys comes with this little stitch marker. It's all wrapped up nice and pretty, but it's a macaroon, bright colored macaroon package. And this is by a Single Strand Studio Etsy shop. So it's, yeah, a Single Strand Studio. And so they were gracious enough to send me this and a lovely bag and the cast on case for myself, which I love. It's great, great fabric and super nice. You should definitely check out their shop. But I have this and I want to give this away. So I have pulled another winner for this one because it's been 3 weeks and I still haven't heard anything from the other person that I have pulled from. So that winner for the cast on case by a Single Strand Studio is Raven Diva or Tyra. Raven Diva is her Ravelry Gray. Ravelry Gray? Really? Ravelry name. Slow down. And congratulations, Tyra. Please contact me through Ravelry and let me know your address, and I will mail that out to you as soon as possible. I also have picked a winner. I closed the thread for the summer garment and 70s tee knit along, and I did random number generator for both of those prices. There were 14 entries for the final finished objects thread for the 70s tee knit along or summer garment, and the winner for that one is PWAZ518. Paula is her name. Please get in touch with me, Paula. Let me show you what you've won because it's very exciting. So you get to choose between this fun sock blank or this fun sock blank. So either one of those, along with some Reading Nook Plum Deluxe Tea black blend, a tea ball to go with it for straining. You also get this cute little keychain, yarn skein keychain, and this cute little Seattle, Washington seagull notions pouch or makeup bag or whatever you want to use it for. So please get in touch with me. I would love to get this prize out to you. Let me know what your preference is on the sock blank. If you want like the rusty blue one or if you want the bright, you know, colored pink and yellow skein. Okay? And my Ravelry name, in case you guys don't know, is yarnandewegirl. So you can find me on Ravelry with that. So those are the two winners. I still haven't heard from the other one for the Ariosa, I think. Where is it? The Classic Elites yarn, but I did not pull another winner yet for these. I'm not sure. I might save them at this point for another giveaway because it's, you know, it's not happening, so I don't want to force them on anybody. But you know, if you watch the episode, I want you to win something, so I will probably draw one next time for that, just to kind of keep the ball rolling and get that stuff done. So that's the winners. Congratulations to everyone. I wanted to share with you guys the yarn that I purchased at Starlight. So let me pause and I'm going to go grab that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I had the $25 gift card and I wanted to find something that I could use, and I wasn't going to be, I wanted to make sure I had enough, so for whatever it was. So I was thinking of the Maritimo sweater by Caitlin Hunter, and I found these two old rusted chair yarn, and it's this like gray with these bits of rust and blue and red. And I thought this for the main body, and there's like browns and oranges. I thought that would be really cool. And then I thought, I found this one from the Flying Kettle that I thought would be a good for the lace pattern. So it's got a little bit of the blue. The main part is rust. There's some reds in there and oranges. And I thought they went fairly well together and would look pretty cool. So I do need a third color. I'm just thinking like a dark navy maybe, or I could basically pick up any color in here as the added color. So those are the 3 so far. I'm not planning on casting this on anytime soon, but that's what I think this is going to end up being. So this is the Flying Kettle. The color is Huggin' Molly. I just thought that one was gorgeous. And then this one is Old Rusted Chair, and the color is Horizon. And the Old Rusted Chair is a 2-ply fingering, 80% superwash merino wool and 20% nylon. And the Flying Kettle is a 2-ply, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. The yarn base is Glider 2-ply. So I've got those. That's for that Maritimo sweater. And then I got, my son Dylan really likes those Lolly Lala crochet patterns. I had started the little black sheep last time, but I haven't gotten very far with it because I don't have any stuffing. I was actually thinking of taking my yarn scraps, like from weaving in my ends, and stuffing the doll with that. But I'm not sure if I'll have enough of those. So, I mean, I probably could if I went through all my stuff. But I think I just need to get some poly at the store. But he wanted Paul, who is the toadstool. And so I bought some Knit Pick Stroll Tweed in a couple different colorways, I think, to do the toadstool. So this is Firecracker Heather. That's for the cap. And then Forest Heather. I'm not sure where this one goes, if it's legs or feet or something like that. And then I have Dill Heather and Down Heather, which is the light gray, more for the body. So I have these 4, excuse me, for Paul the Toadstool. So I think that I will be starting on one of those fairly soon too, because he really likes them. And, you know, Christmas is coming. Might as well get started on stuff for all my family. So anyway, that's all today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for watching and sharing some of your day with me, and have a great rest of your week. Bye.